Welcome to Bears in Exile. Today is Thursday, July 19th, and this is the market overview. Looking at the Dow, SPX, FIX, TNA, UU, PFXE, GLD, SLV, and all the rest. Okay, it was another update for the market, and kind of all over the place at certain points. But nonetheless, up. Dow up almost 35 points. Ending with a spinning top and making a new recent high. Not with the candle itself, but just with the upper shadow. Beyond that, we have the heat map going more green, more of a warning area. Up on the CCI, up on the, actually sideways on the 14-day RSI moving average, up on the stochastics, up on the RSI, up on the MACD, up on the MACD histogram. And we can see that the stochastics are really getting up there. We were wondering if they would have to catch up with the 14-day before it would turn over, and it seems to be the case. So overall, still a bullish chart. Absolutely. New recent high. So we can assume that at some point, maybe soon, maybe in a few days, we'll get a downturn on the Dow. The overall market, it's going to come down for either a lower pivot low or a higher pivot low. We have all these higher pivot lows. So yeah, something around the 12,600, maybe slightly above that, would be appropriate. But yeah, if we can bust out the recent low pivot, then that could change things. But for the moment, daily is still bullish, just like last night. And last night the 60-minute was begging for some kind of down move, and we actually got that, sort of. Where is the beginning of today? Well, you can see they opened up higher, it came down. I don't know that that's exactly what the 60-minute had in mind, but it was some down in the immediate period following last night's close. But of course the gap up makes it seem to be in place. But anyways, 60-minute time frame. How does it look following yesterday's desire for some down? Well, go back in time, end of yesterday. We can see that everything was poised for possible down movement, especially the stochastics, the CCI, and the MACD histogram. And then we go into today. We can see that the stochastics are on the way down. The MACD histogram continues its descent. And now we have the MACD itself trying to cross. We have the RSI ticking down by the end of the day, and the CCI is still pointing up. The 14-day RSI moving average is still pointing up. This still looks like it wants to go down, like a real down, in the 60-minute time frame, but it just hasn't happened yet. I guess it'll happen when it happens, and that's all there is to it. We still have negative divergence, 60-minute time frame, but oh, and now we have really good positive divergence in the daily. So at some point, it's going to matter. It just doesn't matter yet. So SPX. Yep, another new recent high. Not a very convincing candle. More building in the topping area of the heat map. And everything pointing up. This is a bullish chart. This is a bullish chart. I don't think there's anything really different in the 60-minute time frame. No, it's identical to the Dow. So, except we're actually getting a downtick on the MACD histogram into negative territory, and we've started a bearish cross on the MACD itself. So, a very minor difference. But, yeah, we'll see when that matters. Moving on to the VIX. Look at that. Woo! New recent low, closing way down into the 15s, and building more in the heat map area, down on the CCI, down on the stochastics, sideways on the 14-day RSI moving average holding low, down on the RSI, down on the histogram, down on the MACD. Lots of complacency, but that doesn't matter yet. It'll matter when it matters. Last night it was asking for some up movement, got that off of the slight gap down and then backed away sharply. 60-minute time frame, is it overdone? Well, the 60-minute is a mixed bag. It was able to work off some of its problem area in the heat map. You can see that here at the end of yesterday, very solid. And then after doing its jump today, working itself off, coming back down, working itself off, coming back down. And we have the CCI moving down, the stochastics essentially going sideways. Slight downtick on the 14-day RSI moving average, down on the RSI, down on the histogram, and down on the MACD, except for this being extremely extended at the bottom. Yeah, it looks like it's poised for more down movement. So not all negative, but certainly not enough positive to say that, hey, this needs to bounce toot sweet. So that is what it is. For some reason, I don't have XOI's data again. Very strange. Wonder if my provider has changed something on me. TNA. We've been saying we didn't like its movement. Yesterday did quite a bit to help alleviate that. Today, backing away, unlike most of the market, dropping almost an entire percentage point, which is not healthy. It did make a new recent high, besting yesterday by a few cents, and ending with a giant spinning top. Not too much in the heat map area, but down on the CCI, 14-day RSI moving average has finally stopped its ascent. It's going sideways now. Stochastics are mixed. Down on the RSI, essentially sideways on the MACD, and sideways on the MACD histogram. This is not a healthy looking chart, and does not say good things about the internal structure of the market. So warning sign in my opinion. And 60-minute time frame. You can see that fight all day, losing to the downside. Nothing in the heat map. Down on the CCI, up on the 14-day RSI moving average, down on the stochastics, sideways on the CCI, down, I'm sorry, the RSI, down on the histogram, down on the MACD. Definitely more bearish than bullish in the 60-minute time frame. And I think that if it gets enough of a push in the 60-minute, you'll see the daily really take some damage as well. And just not a good sign for the overall market. I mean, the Dow and SPX are busting out their recent high, the important recent high. And here we are with TNA, all the small caps, and they can't even get to that point. Very, very bad sign. And UUP, last night we were talking about, it finished its bubble corrective move. And we had pointed out, I don't know if it was last night or in one of the previous videos, that we had this gap here in addition to the bubble corrective move. Bubble corrective move is finished, and now today this first gap is also complete. That is filled. It is done. And it does leave this giant gap right here. Could we go and fill it? Yeah, we could. I kind of don't think that we will. I think that will go up first. But I guess you never know. You could also look at this and say, oh, this is a bull flag. That's possible as well. Nothing in the heat map to suggest anything. Down on the CCI, Mixed on the stochastics. Slow pointing down, fast pointing up. 14-day RSI moving average still pointing up. Down on the histogram and down on the MACD. So very mixed chart. I think that once we have the stochastics fully turned, it'll be a very different story, but we shall see. And this is very interesting. Something isn't right here. Even though we had a green candle, this was technically a down close since it's lower than yesterday. Looking at the stats, I thought I was going to see a red candle here, but anyways, I guess I tricked myself once again. We only have 1 day left to complete the bubble corrective move on FXE. I don't think that it can bounce that much in a single day. This is most likely going to be a failed uptick move. I got the one in UUP filled, so at least there's that, but just too much distance to cover, I suppose. Maybe I shouldn't talk until tomorrow is finished. But anyways, we can see here the CCI is moving on up. The stochastics are moving up, but the fastest trend to turn, down on the 14-day RSI moving average, sideways on the RSI, barely up on the MACD, histogram, and the MACD itself. Pretty darn weak when you consider everything. It's had to move with the fast all the way from the bottom to the top, and it's only managed $1.09 roundabout. So yeah, something comes along, knocks this off its little pedestal. It's a little two-legged stool, and it's going to fall over. So, anyways. Comp Q, wow. This one did great today. All of the techs did amazing. And very strange that it couldn't carry TNA with it. Normally these two are like cousins, and you know, a little mirror image. But instead we have a spinning top. Decent gap. Could it be an island reversal? It's possible. We definitely have a blip in the heat map. CCI getting high. 14-day RSI moving average going sideways high. Stochastics almost there to meet it. The fast is getting there. Up on the RSI, up on the MACD, up on the MACD histogram. A bullish chart. And did it burn too hot? 60-minute time frame. Have this gap to fill. Coincides with well, the major price consensus level in the 60-minute time frame. Not as important as the daily. Certainly we have lots of green in the heat map. Down on the CCI, up on the 14-day RSI moving average. No turning there. Down on the stochastics, sideways on the RSI. Down on the MACD, down on the MACD histogram. It looks like this one is a bit overheated. All these need to turn, and then we'll see how far down it can go. But very nice daily chart. Semi-questionable because of the candle. Be very interesting when everything rolls over, and the indexes which are supposed to lead are going to lead to the downside. It'll be very interesting to see how much damage that does to the Dow and SPX. And Apple. Yeah, this one did good today. I was just not impressed with it the last few days. It was just really lagging. And today made a good showing. Qualcomm was up, and Qualcomm and Apple go hand in hand, making a new recent high. Yeah, you could look at this and say, oh, this is a fat body hanging man. I suppose it could be. I'd be more of the inclination that it would at least want to challenge this previous high at 620. And indicator-wise, it would seem to agree with that as well. Up on the CCI, up on the 14-day RSI moving average. Notice even with the this down move and everything, it's been moving up this entire time. Stochastics racing up to meet it. Up on the RSI, up on the histogram, up on the MACD. Nice looking daily chart. And GE should lead the Dow. The Dow is positive and GE was solidly negative, gapping above the major price consensus level and losing it, making a decent push into the long-term moving average bar and retreating from that point. Not the end of the world, holding above it, below the $20 level, which is important. 14-day RSI moving average, we've been watching this one. It's still moving down. Throughout this move up, the fast stochastic has been racing to the top. Notice it's almost there. Slow stochastic, not impressed. The RSI ticking down, the MACD ticking down, MACD histogram barely a tick up. This one is very much a push-pull at the moment as we're just waiting for these to finish their reset. But sure doesn't seem like it's too far away. And JP Morgan, the most important bank. We've been talking about it and its problems with the long-term moving average bar. Today, racing away from it, closing below the major price consensus level. 14-day RSI moving average, great alignment for the down move. Same with the stochastics, same with the CCI. RSI ticking up slightly, sideways on the MACD and the MACD histogram. This is definitely more bearish than bullish by a decent stretch. It is also bearish engulfing. And if you don't have the banks online with the rally, is it a long-term real rally? The answer should be no. And XLF, the banking sector as a whole. Oh, check that out. We got a downtick today, but it was resolved intraday. Now we have to see what it wants to do. 14-day RSI moving average going sideways, stochastics rolling over along with the CCI, the RSI, the histogram, and the MACD all ticking down. Not a good chart. And a failure here means a failure of the breaking out of the pivot high. How interesting that, like the Dow and SPX, we'd have all of these ascending highs and ascending lows. If we have a failure here, then we have a lower pivot high, which opens up the door to a lower pivot low, which means the spell is broken. And you would think that the market would follow suit. Very interesting. GLD, I forgot to cover this last night. There isn't really too much to cover. It's still in this nasty little area. And for the most part, oof, kind of hard to gauge. Spinning top, below the bar, below the lower price consensus level. Up on the CCI, down on the 14-day RSI moving average and the stochastics, up on the RSI, and sideways on the MACD and the MACD histogram. There's just nothing really to see here, nothing to do with that. Silver's going to be the same, I would imagine. Yes, it is. There's just nothing to say about those two. They're just worthless at the moment. Maybe they'll get some movement and then we can do something with it. And Walmart, the little monster in my pocket. Well, it's not in my pocket anymore. I sold out of it today. Finally getting the dump. My timing was a little bit off, and yeah, I wish I had got all of what I got yesterday. It'd have been unbelievably spectacular, but that's how it goes. Sometimes get the timing right, and sometimes the timing wrong. And the daily chart, everything is rolling over. The sucker looks terrible in the daily time frame, and I do think that ultimately it'll be going way down to the major price consensus level. And yeah, this is a stretch. There's this gap to fill way down here at 60. So certainly it can't do that in a short period of time, but I'll be watching this one closely to see if I can get back into it for more of the down move. And I've got some fibs and stuff here just to try to gauge where the bounce will crap out. I'm looking at 71.84 or 72.24, but yeah, we'll see. Not far away. Kind of fun to play though. And that's about it for tonight. Tomorrow is OpEx. Be very interesting to see if there's a lot of movement or if it's already been pinned to where they want it to go, in which case it'll just be a sideways day. But nonetheless, it's always fun. As always, all investing decisions are your own. This chart and video for entertainment, educational, and consumption of time purposes only. Thank you.